Well, good morning and welcome to another edition of Expert Alerts. This is a live show in which we bring in different experts from along the Gulf Coast and different areas of business. All of them, of course, to give their advice to you as a consumer in many different fields. Well, today, Thad McIntyre, owner and broker with Powermark Properties. My mind went blank. Powermark Properties is back in the studio with us. And today's show is kind of really directed to whether you are a buyer or a seller. There's some very important things that you need to know about home inspections.
Yes.
And home warranty. So let's start out there with the home inspections.
Home inspections are good not only for the buyers and the seller or the seller, but for the consumer to know what they're getting into. The home inspection basically is the eyes and ears of the property. So to see the internal guts, to know exactly what's going on, that someone hasn't just covered an error with perhaps paint or put new carpet in over a floor that's got cracks in it or something of that nature. Mm-hmm. So it's always good to have a home inspection done. We also suggest the seller receiving one before they put their house on the market. That'll allow them to know exactly what they're up against before they get surprised by the buyer's home inspection.
Right. Now, what's the difference between a home inspector and a home appraiser?
A lot. A home appraiser is there to give value of the property. A home inspector is to determine any defects.
Now, would you send in a home inspector before you send in a home appraiser? So that way they can communicate with each other?
That depends on the consumer themselves and exactly where they are. This day and age right now, with transactions moving so quickly, most people want to put the property under contract to secure it prior to ordering their home inspection.
Okay. And when they go in, I mean, these home inspectors, they're trained. They know what to look for exactly and any little flaw that the house might have.
Absolutely. Some are a little more detailed than others, but they all have certain standards that they have to go by. Mm-hmm. So they're going to check the integrity and the safety of the house to make sure that it is in good working condition, that you don't have wires that are about to touch. Some get very, very detailed and say that this outlet should have a GFCI, but it doesn't. So those are things that we're looking for. They'll test the water, they'll mm-hmm. test the AC units to make sure that they're blowing cold air, just what it says on the thermometer.
What about if a house has a crawl space? Will they get underneath the house and inspect under there?
They do, as well as the actual appraiser. They both will do that, provided that we've got 18 inches or more in clearance. They're able to get under there.
I'm claustrophobic, so I could not do that job.
Yes,
but it is very important. Now, when is there a case where you might not have an inspector?
So we're seeing right now that a lot of people, because we end up in multiple offers, they'll waive their home inspection contingency. And that's really not a good thing. At least going into the property, you know what's going on with it. So try to work on getting a home inspection to start with, so you're able to know the defects. Mm-hmm. You may decide that that property isn't right for you and are able to get out of it at that point.
Now, what about those people that the difference between a home that is sold by a real estate company and those that are sold by the owner?
By owner. That's a very good question, Jim. It's basically, in the state of Mississippi, we're a non-disclosure state, which means that an individual seller without a real estate agent doesn't have to disclose everything. It's almost buyer beware. So we want to look at that and make sure that the consumer is protected. So right now we're seeing a lot of for sale by owners go on the market, and people are thinking that they can save the real estate commission. Well, NAR has done some statistics that prove that using a real estate agent will make you more money than you do trying to net by yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's always good to have a real estate agent involved. And a real estate agent is required by law, under Mississippi law, to perform a property condition disclosure statement, which basically lays out all of the safety hazards, mm-hmm. and the consumer is protected that way in the event that the seller neglected to disclose something.
Now, let's say I want to go buy, I see a home that I like it. It's for sale by owner.
Sure. And
I really like it, but they haven't had it inspected. Can I hire an inspector?
Absolutely.
To go in there and to protect myself?
Absolutely. The thing about doing it by owner without the agent is sometimes two parties don't understand the negotiating power that they have. And then when two parties talk to one another, it can escalate to a different level. So we want to make sure that we are kind of there to help defuse a situation should it arise. Otherwise, they're looking at each other going, well, this is my inspector. Exactly, it's mm-hmm. your inspector, so how do I trust them?
Right.
So a buyer and seller will end up in that position quite frequently nowadays.
Okay. Home warranties.
Yes.
We see the ads all the time. Yeah, when I lived up in Helm in South Carolina, of course, I had American Home Shield.
Yep.
At one of those. How important is having a home warranty?
So I find it to be very important. Some agents will disagree with me. Some people don't believe in them because whenever, it's almost like insurance. They feel like that the insurance company is there not to pay instead of to pay. So a lot of people are either on the fence with it or they don't want to do it. I suggest to any seller, and there are a lot of home warranty companies that will protect the seller as long as they own the property, and then start the day of closing for the new home buyer. So you can have basically almost up to 18 months worth of protection under that first year's coverage. 6 months for the seller-ish, and that's typically because of a listing agreement.
Right.
And then another 13 months after for the new home buyer. So it can put the buyer at ease to know that the seller is at least willing to do it. And I always recommend that not being a negotiating point, but instead a gift from the seller.
I was going to say, it's kind of a little perk, you know, hey, come in here. Your home is all these different things are protected, because there were times when I did need to use it. They had to come in and put in a new garbage disposal. Yep. Cost me $25.
There you go.
You get a garbage disposal somewhere and get it installed for $25 nowadays.
Not
it ain't
gonna happen.
happening. It's not happening.
No, not at all. So I do recommend them, and there are multiple choices out there to use. There are some that even carry a seller's errors and omission insurance in the event that the seller neglects something or we end up in court. They can have a protection for insurance on them as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a benefit all the way around to everybody involved with the transaction, the buyer, the seller, and the real estate agents.
Okay, and I guess you can talk to your real estate agent and get some recommendations, because I'm sure there are a few different home warranty business companies out there.
Absolutely.
Offering some great packages. But
Yeah.
I do recommend it.
We even have one company now that's doing a free ReKey. So basically you pay the service fee of $80 and you get all of your doors rekeyed. So instead of going to buy brand new locks for the house, you just simply they send out a locksmith.
That can get expensive.
Yes, it can, very much so.
Very expensive.
Certainly more than $80.
Got a few minutes left. Anything else that you want to touch on what's going on in the industry?
So the industry as a whole right now is slowing down just a little bit. We've seen a little bit of a rise on interest rates. Mm-hmm. So that's to be expected right now. And with that, the market this week has been a little bit slow, and I think we all as agents can take a deep breath because we've been going so crazy lately. But just a little bit of a slowdown in the market. Not quite as many, we're still seeing a lot of pending contracts and still not as many coming into the market. Mm-hmm. So we are still doing pretty good.
What is the average percentage for somebody wanting to buy, as far as getting your down payment or whatever?
Sure. Honestly, right now we are seeing so many contracts come in that unfortunately, if a buyer's not bringing a little bit of cash to the table, their offer is going to get overlooked. The VA appraisers right now are coming in undervalued, so we see that in the market being an indicator of supply and demand, and the prices. The new prices haven't caught up to the values that the appraisers have been using.
Right.
So we are seeing a little bit of a snafu with that right now, and as well as the USDA programs, because people don't want to wait the little extra time that it takes to get that down payment money. So if you're a buyer right now is the time to start saving your pennies and prepare for some type of a down payment, and hopefully negotiate some of your closing costs or your down payment or your earnest money even. Coming in with a little bit more earnest money, as we call it, skin in the game.
Mm-hmm. And of course that definitely lets the real estate agent and the seller know that you're serious about this.
Exactly.
You're serious about this, and and makes it better for everyone.
Yes.
So some important things to think about definitely is your home inspector. It doesn't matter whether you're going through a real estate agent. If you are, the real estate agent will handle that.
Absolutely.
But if someone is selling their own house, as they say, owners, is the one selling it,
yes,
for sale by owner, you can have an inspector go in there and do it. What is that usually? What's it? Usually run?
About $400 on average. So we're seeing about
worth peace of mind.
Absolutely.
Definitely worth peace of mind.
Because if you have to get up there and change a new roof, it's going to cost more than $400. So might as well know going into it.
They find the hidden stuff out
Yes.
there. All right. That is always a pleasure.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you very
Good
much.
seeing you.
If you have any questions, of course, they are located right across from the Keesler Federal Credit Union on Pass Road in Biloxi. Phone numbers on there on the screen there, as well as the address. So if you're looking to buy or sell, give them a call at Powermark Properties here in Biloxi. If you have a question for any of our experts, go to WLOX.com and click on Expert Alert. For a list of any of our upcoming experts, go to WLOX.com and click on Expert Alert.